Okay, so we are out here for product profile of the Tornado 75. We are not at a local flying field. We're in fact in the dying days of Joe Knoll 2015. We took advantage of us being here and the beautiful weather to shoot the product profile here. Now the Tornado 75, you already know everything there is to know about it. I'll talk you through some of the features as we go up and give it a spin now and unload it and let you guys see what the Tornado 75 is really all about. Alright, so the great thing about the Tornado 75, it does have fixed gear, that is removable, but it also has great ground handling on that trike undercarriage. Also you can see steerable nose wheel that really helps even on this rough grass here down the electric line. I'm just going to taxi out to the main runway here. I'm going to park it on there, turn it around. Alright, now you can yank this thing off the ground if you want, but I actually like to do a nice long rollout, treating it like a scow jet, so let's give that a go now. This is 6S, remember. All right, taking off. There she goes. Takes a little bit to get unstuck from grass, but once it's up, it really scoots along. Now I'm just going to back it off to half throttle there. Get myself trimmed. Now I'm running a 60C pack on this one. It's anything from a 40 to 60C. The 60C is really best. It does weigh a little bit more. You just need to adjust the trim for each battery. So a nice loop in the top there. Loops really, really well. Plenty of power. Back it off at the bottom half, at the top half, sorry, and bring it around. And there she goes. Now it is windy today, so she's getting buffeted around a bit, but she still certainly grooves along. I'm going to kick the rudder in here. Come around for a hammerhead. Low pass, right to left. There we go. Alright, now that they are out my way, I'm going to pass left to right. Low pass, left to right. Step back a bit, Alex.
I will.
There you really get an idea of the speed. It's got a good turn of speed. Again, in this wind, it would be a little bit slow. It's working a little bit harder. Have a hammerhead there, but it still scoots along. Right to left! And try and do a little bit of a knife edge here. There we go. This jet holds knife edge really, really well. I would say it's a pussycat, but it's a fast pussycat. Okay, so the field is mine. I'm going to come and do another knife edge pass to you just because I like doing them so much and the field is clear. Pass right to left! Keep on the throttle. Bring it around. Full throttle. Up. And in goes the rudder. There goes a little bit of tail wag again in this wind. Now the next thing I want to show you, I'm going to slow it right down. Low pass, left to right. I'm going to slow it down as much as I can. You can see that's a power off pass pretty much. It just glides really, really nicely. Okay, so this is going to be low and slow now. I'm backing the throttle right off. You can see how it's rock steady. There we go. A little bit of a wing over, and then power away. Up she goes. And roll around. Right to left. Power off again, and slam on the power. All right. So that's pretty much it for. I mean, the flying. It's spot on. It's a sports jet, so. If you're a better pilot than me, I'm sure you can do 4 and 8 point rolls and everything else. It will do it. I just can't do it myself. I'm going to come here and do a little roll at the top. Roll. That's on low roll rates right now for me. I like to keep things nice and soft when I fly. You guys can mix it up. Doing right to left. Now I'm getting around 6 to 7 minutes on this 6S pack. That's backing it off a little bit as well. I'm going to come towards us and do a loop. Alex, you want to get this here?
What's that?
I'll do another loop in front of us. Yeah, so if you back it off on the downwind legs, you can really stretch this out to probably even 8 minutes. It's a jet that likes to be flown at any speeds, but it's great fun just to mix up the control settings. Okay, low with loop in the middle. Push it up now. Going to full throttle. Let it climb up. Keep those loops nice and big. And exit. Down on the throttle and then full on again, and then I'll exit with a roll. So it really, really grooves for the cost of it and for what you get. You get a good, simple sports jet that will just perform all day long. It's not a particularly advanced model. Even if this is your first EDF, it would make the ideal one. If you've had a low wing type model before, and it just grooves. Landing! And now what I think you can hopefully see with this when I bring it round is that you should be able to flare for a nice, smooth landing. Now remember, this is on grass, so it will come to a halt quite quickly. Landing! You can get that down there. Alex, you got that there?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Little bit of a bounce. And she is down. Okay, so that was a great flight. It's just taxied back here. Tornado 75 we will take back to the studio, and you'll see it in the before time when it was just a model in the box, and we'll put it together and show you what's in the box and how quickly and easily the Tornado 75 goes together.
Hey guys, welcome to another HobbyKing product profile. Today we're going to bring you the Tornado 75, which is a 75mm plug and fly sport jet. This model is 1100mm wingspan, 965 millimeters long, and weighs about 1450 grams, ready to fly. The model comes with a 60 amp speed controller pre-installed, as well as a 2000 kV brushless motor and all the servos as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull everything out of the box, let you see it exactly as it comes out of the box, and we'll do a quick assembly so you have an idea of what you're getting into with Tornado 75. Now before we get started, let's run through the equipment you're going to need to complete your Tornado 75. The first things are you will need a 4+ channel transmitter receiver. I'm using one of our orange T6s as well as one of our orange 6-channel receivers, which we'll show you the installation later. For the actual tools you'll need to assemble this model are just a Phillips screwdriver and a 1.5mm hex driver. Pretty much all you need to complete the model. It's a good idea to have a few other tools ready to go just in case you need them, such as needle nose pliers or clear tape, or just minor little things like that in case you need to make other small adjustments. But generally out of the box comes pretty well ready to go. So the first thing when you open the box, you're going to be greeted with the nice full color instruction manual. It has all nice photos, real clear instructions on control throws, as well as the CG measurement. So real easy to set up. Next thing, let's pop all this stuff out. We have these nice foam box inserts that support everything nicely. Let's see here. You've got your landing gear taped in place all nicely in bag so it doesn't flop around and hit all the foam parts. We've got all the sub-assemblies such as a horizontal stabilizer and vertical fin in nice clear plastic bags. Let's pop all this out. We've got our 2 wing panels here, again all in plastic bags. And finally we have, throw all the stuff on the floor. All right, here we go. We got the fuselage. This is Bad Mamma Jamma right here. And then last but not least, taped to the box top in a clear plastic poly bag is the aluminum wing spar. So let's get this packaging out of the way and start our assembly. All right, next let's pull all the plastic bags off of everything. Here you can see the fuselage. Servo extensions already installed for the rudder and elevator servos. Run through the fuselage. And actually, let's pop the hatch off real quick. I can show you inside. Those servo extensions run underneath the plywood battery tray, and they all come out all at basically the same length, so it's really easy to plug into your receiver, and then it makes for a nice clean wiring installation. So a lot of pre-assembly done there. Let's pop these plastic bags open here. Wing panels all ready to go, servos pre-installed, all the decals are pre-applied, all the linkages are pre-done. Now of note, the clevises used on this model, they are a molded nylon plastic, but the pin itself is an actual metal pin. So for a high-speed model like this, gives you better precision and better strength, so you don't have to worry about these breaking in the air. All right, let's continue our unpackaging here. One of the nice things is, due to how much prefabrication there is done, such as all the linkages being pre-installed, there's not really a hardware bag included because all the hardware is already installed. So this whole model can actually be flight ready, and probably, including radio programming, assuming you know how to program your radio real quickly, can probably be done in probably 20 minutes total. So you could actually show up at the field and be flying in less time than it takes to charge up your battery pack. Let's see here. Horizontal stabilizer. You can see it actually has dual elevator servos, so it gives you a real crisp response, which again on a high-speed model you want that nice crisp response so you don't have to worry about like an elevator joiner that flexes or causes any uneven roll tendencies. Last but not least is of course the landing gear. We've got our main landing gear, and those of you that watch the product video, you'll see that the model can operate off of grass and pavement, as well as does nice underhand hand launches, because it does have plenty of power. Okay, so that completes our unbagging. We've got our landing gear here, and the only hardware really to speak of is the few screws needed to attach the wings and the tail, as well as a couple spare control horns should you ever need them. And then last but not least, these are the little plastic plates that hold the main landing gear in place. All right, so that rounds out all the parts that come in the box. Let's start our assembly. Let's get these wing panels out of the way so we can work a little easier, as well as our aluminum wing spar. And we are going to start with the horizontal stabilizer. First things first are basically to stick it in place. It just fits in place like so. It attaches to the fuselage with two self-tapping screws, and the manual does call out specifically which sizes to use. I believe they are the longest two. So let's pull those out of the bag. You can see just a handful of screws are all that's needed to assemble this model. So I'm going to drop those in place here. Let's drop those in place. If I can get my fat fingers in here. There we go. Get our Phillips screwdriver. If you don't have any screwdrivers, we do have a nice selection on our website, of course. Okay. Okay, stabilizer is in place. There are the two servo extensions pre-installed in the fuselage I mentioned. The elevator extension is the one with the number 2 label on that extension, so you'll want to plug those in. Make sure you get white to white, red to red, and black to black when plugging it in. I would suggest after you do plug it in to secure this with some clear tape, just for added security. And you will need to be careful when you tuck these wires in, because it is kind of a tight fit, but for the sake of this video, we'll just tuck them in here real quick. All right, so next up is the vertical fin. Same deal. First thing you'll need to do is actually plug in that servo extension for the rudder servo immediately, and then carefully tuck those wires in. What you can do is when you're trying to tuck these wires in, because it is kind of tight, is reach down here, right just aft of the battery tray, and you can actually locate which servo extensions go to the back there, and that you can help to pull out some of that excess extension wires, because it is a little bit tight, and you do want to make sure these wires are well situated. So there you can see now I pulled it through, and I can just drop that vertical fin in place like so. There we go. So now we have our vertical fin in place. I'm going to screw down the front screw first. Let's do this real carefully. Again, the manual does call out exactly which screws you need to use. And then next we take our two side screws, put them in as such. Pretty quick assembly. We're almost halfway done. Okay, so vertical fin is in place, horizontal stabilizer is in place. At this point, we're already almost halfway done, like I just said. All right, next, let us install the wing. So I'm going to take this aluminum wing spar. Do note on either end, there are some little holes, and those are for the wing screws that get mounted, or get attached, as I should say, from the bottom of the wing. You do want to orient the screws so that they are straight up and down. So typically what I do to make it easy is I'll insert the spar to the fuselage, insert it into the one wing panel, attach the wing panel to the spar with the one screw, while I still have access on the other side, so I can actually rotate that spar as need be to get the proper alignment. From there, I can put on that second wing panel. So first up, let's remove this paper masking tape here. And this actually reveals the pre-run aileron servo Y lead. Let's hook up that servo connector. Again, red to red, black to black, white to white. There we go, plugged in. Then we can feed that in through the fuselage there. Got that wing panel, keys into the fuselage. So next we're going to insert the wing spar. Let me rotate that so you guys can see it a little bit easier there. Let's take that wing spar, again, try to orient those wing screw holes straight up and down. So we'll insert it through here. There we go. As you see there. And then, so you can see here, I've got the wing screw hole in the spar straight up and down. Let's rotate the whole airplane. Make sure I'm lined up, which I'm not quite. And there we go. So we're lined up. You've got a wing mounting screw location right here. You just put the one single screw in place, and that secures the whole wing to the wing spar. And then from there, we want to repeat the same process for the second wing. So I'm going to rotate this real quick so I can access it easier. Here is the other wing. Just like you did before, you want to attach the servo extension to the servo itself. It's not a bad idea to put a little plastic clip on there or some clear tape, again, to just double ensure that that connection is good and strong. So we just slide the second wing panel in place, pop it in, key it into the fuselage, and again, just like you did before, you'll want to put the second wing mounting screw in this front location here. So at this point, we have what appears to be a whole airframe. Now, the next thing we want to do is mount the landing gear. So we're going to flip the whole airplane over. In fact, hold this real quick. I'm going to grab a piece of that foam from the ground, help protect the airplane, and keep it from swinging everywhere. In fact, let's rotate it so you guys can see it a little easier. Now the landing gear is, again, pretty easy to install. We've got two identical main gears. Typically what I do is I install it so that the wheel is to the outside on both the left and the right side. Boom, front landing or main landing gear is in place now. And what we do is we secure that with these little plastic clips. You'll notice on each clip there is a little cutout here, and that is to go around the landing gear leg. And this just drops into place like so. And then it is secured with two small, short Phillips screwdriver screws. Phillips head screws, I should say. All right, now we've got main gear done. Let's install the nose wheel. Now for the nose wheel, you want to orient it so that the coil spring is to the back of the model. There are two set screws on the front nose gear mounting bracket, not bracket, but fitting. It's for a 1.5 millimeter driver setup, so I've got a 1.5 millimeter driver right here, of course. You'll want to unscrew them a little bit. So just insert it into the nose. Again, make sure that coil is to the back. It's not a bad idea at this point to put some removable strength thread lock on those set screws, because over time, vibration, high speed vibration, and just the shimmying of the front wheel can loosen those set screws. So again, removable strength thread lock in case you need to service it later. Tighten both set screws equally. All right, there we go. Main and nose wheel landing gear is in place. Tail's bolted on. What's next? Let's just install our final electronics, and this bad boy is about ready to fly. For power, didn't mention it at the beginning, but you will need a 6-cell 2600 to about 3000 milliamp battery pack with an XT60 connector on it, because that's what comes pre-installed on the 60 amp speed controller. Let's see here. So I've got my 6L 3000. I don't have an adapter, so I'm just going to use this to hold the airplane in place, keep it from flopping on its back. But for setup, I'll just use a small pack because I've got an XT60 connector already pre-installed. As I mentioned before, all the servo wire leads are up front here. They're all sized to the same length, so it makes plugging into your receiver real quick and easy. You will need, again, a 4+ channel receiver. I've got DSM2 orange 6-channel. All right, so next we plug in our receiver to those wire leads. They're all labeled with 1, 2, 3, 4. Do note, channel 4 is rudder, channel 2 is your elevator, channel 3 is your throttle, and channel 1 is your aileron setup for this model as labeled, though do consult your specific receiver for those actual pinouts. Okay, so let's start here. Plug that into So we've plugged in all our servo leads to the receiver. The receiver itself can be mounted up front with some double-sided tape or Velcro. Just put it right about so, whatever works well for receiver mounting. Now for when you go to install the flight battery itself, what I would suggest doing is referring to the manual for the proper CG, get that location determined, and then maybe with like a pen or something, mark on the fuselage the exact forward aft location. That way you can always go to the correct CG every time you put in a new fresh battery pack. The model comes with a neoprene pad pre-installed onto the plywood tray and a battery strap to go around said battery, and this combination together in all our testing has actually worked out real well, that all you need is just that one strap because the neoprene compresses and helps cradle that battery. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install this battery in here at the approximate location. That way I can finish my final setup. So we've installed our battery to the fuselage. Let's just double check our center of gravity, and if we refer to the manual, 85 millimeters back from the leading edge as measured from the wing root. For easy reference, that's about on the aluminum wing spar, so you can use that as your reference. And I do recommend checking it with the model upside down. It seems to give the best results. Let's check right now. And right now, I'm actually a little nose heavy, so I need to move the battery pack further back. For lighter weight packs, you of course will move it forward. Again, just loosen up that neoprene strap and go from there. And also, like I said, balance it with it inverted and with a full battery. That way it's heaviest. I'm just kidding, that's not really true, but you will want to double check it. When you go to install the hatch, it has this little tab up front, inserts into a notch, and it just clips in place. We've got a nice spring-loaded clip there that is nice and secure. You can practically pick up the model by that. Don't recommend it, but it can. To release, again, just pull that latch back. Hatch comes off, access to your receiver and your battery pack. Well guys, that about wraps up this product profile of the Tornado 75. You can see it goes together quickly, easily, flies well, and it flies for a long time. So hope you guys enjoy it, and be sure to check out all of our other product profile videos on our YouTube channel, HobbyKing Live. We'll see you guys next time.